Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining me this Sunday for another episode of The Chamber Within. Today, I would like to talk about forgiveness and the power of it. In the spiritual community, we often hear of the power of silence and how being still and silencing your mind can help you tap into your greater awareness within. Yes, that is very true. Another aspect of me embracing the spirituality in my life was that for me, forgiveness allowed me to put down a very heavy emotional bag. It propelled my way forward once I allowed my heart to heal. Yes, allowed my heart to heal. So forgiveness was a gift I was ultimately giving myself. Extending grace to others helped me in ways I didn't anticipate. And it is one of the reasons why I share what I have been through ultimately, right? So holding a grudge is like holding onto a broken heart and blaming others for breaking it over and over. Can you imagine, as you're blaming them while holding this broken heart of yours, in your hands metaphorically, what you are doing is clamping down on it like a vice. When you tell the stories of past transgressions and hurts and pains and events, you continue to therefore squeeze and squeeze, squeezing on it, never allowing it to recover. Perhaps they broke it, yes, but it is yours, and you have the power to heal it. Ultimately, by letting go of what was, you no longer have to identify with the initial pain over and over again. This is how we hurt ourselves. We continue to perpetuate this pain by reliving the stories that we've experienced. And if they're in the past, they then become our memories and the stories that we have to keep telling. We have to keep reliving and keep hurting when you don't forgive and let go. And so I'm not sure what brought you here today and what your story is, but I can say what forgiveness does is allow you to look at your life story and see the people in your life as teachers, seeing lessons instead of problems, and seeing your troubles ultimately as blessings. It is a re-seeing of your life in an objective way at a distance so that you can safely view it from a different light. Instead of me versus them, it is an us and we collective story because we were both teaching each other something in that moment. And the greatest secret to this is that this is why we are here. I have a few excerpts I'd like to read to you today that allowed me to see my life from such a healing perspective, actually. This way of thinking helped me greatly. This excerpt is from the Book of Mastery, the Mastery Trilogy, Book 1, by Paul Selig. This is on page 277. Now we ask you this: who is the one person on the path that you would like to avoid on this journey up the mountain? Who is the one person that you would damn, that you would deny, that you would claim outside of the light? We would like you to do an exercise with us now. Imagine that you are standing at the face of a cave, and inside this cave there appears to be only darkness, but you allow yourself to enter. As you enter this dark space, you claim your own vibration. And I quote, "I know who I am. I know what I am. I know how I serve. I am here. I am here. I am here." End quote. And the light that you are illumines the cave. And what you see before you is the one being you would put outside of God. See her before you. See him before you. And know this to be true. By placing them in darkness, you have been invited to join them there in the cave. This is what we would like you to do. See the one before you in her worth, in his worth, and claim them in their freedom. And I quote, "I see you in your beauty. I see you in your right to be. I see you, and as your witness, I liberate you from the darkness I have cast you into." End quote. And then you will offer them your hand and lead them out of the cave into the light. Now, this is a very strong meditation. You must understand that by leading another into the light that you have placed in darkness, you free yourself from the cave. Every time you think of that being, you step into the cave with them. You enter the dark place that you have claimed them in. By leading them to the light, by seeing them in their worth, you liberate yourself from the ties that bind you. When you align them to the light, you are untied. They are free, and you are free as well. Now, some of you will struggle with this exercise, and you may alter it if you wish to tell them what you feel when you enter the dark cave. And I quote, I hate what you did. I hate what I became. I am still fearful. I am still angry. End quote. Whatever you may need to claim, but still bring the light to them. Let them be lifted by the frequency of the light you are, and extend your hand and lead them out. You do not do this for their benefit, but for your own. They have been your teacher in a very high way, because those that would call you to the darkness are actually teaching you to know the light. Do you hear these words? They are good words. They are true words. You may hold them and know that they are so. This book and many others have helped me to reconfigure what I thought was right, wrong, good, bad, high, low. I love this series because it also speaks of this life being a masquerade party, right? We're down here masquerading as characters because our true self is, of course, spirit, and we are as the person we are born to be. Like, I am spirit as Dawn, expressing as Dawn, but that is not my true nature, as I have said in the past, where I was told, you are not Dawn, you are not Dawn, and I saw my many incarnations all at once. What hit me about the masquerade party was the fact that in that moment I could put my bag down emotionally, like I said earlier. And to me, it reminded me of when I was, stick with me, when I was upset with Joaquin Phoenix when I watched The Gladiator and how awful of a person he was. It is ridiculous to be mad at Joaquin Phoenix for playing a character, right? He was playing evil. That is not who Joaquin is. Hence, we are not who we are in a day-to-day fashion, right? We were born, we were given a name, we were given, right and wrong guidelines, characteristics. We were programmed with program meaning this is where you are from, city, country. This is how city or country people act. This is the music they listen to. This is the food that they eat. That type of programming, right? How we were raised to express as such. I am raised to have this Northeastern accent, right? I was taught by others who were taught, and before them were taught by their elders. That's what I mean by programming, right? We don't realize that we are endowing our children with programming as well. My daughter's favorite color is pink because that's all I dressed her in when she was a little girl. Little girls should wear pink, right? Okay. Now it's her favorite color. She's in her 20s. Pink, 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 pink. Anyways, I digress. I was mad at Joaquin Phoenix. And it made me realize how silly that was, because I know he is not the character he played. So I took that idea and I expanded it to everyday life. Now, it is hard. It is not easy to look at someone in your life as a character. Even more difficult to look at yourself as such. This is not our permanent state of being. If you know that, then how is the idea of a masquerade such a stretch, right? We're going to go home one day. We're going to release this corporeal form. We're going to be more than what we are, which is pure energy. We are all just spirits on a playground. This playground we call life. When our emotions are attached to events, it is very hard to see through that emotion objectively. It is easy to place blame. It is easy to allow hurt. It is easy to be wrapped up in the story, wrapped up in the gladiator moment, unrelenting in the hatred for Joaquin Phoenix. Once I learned how to apply that, I started doing so again and again. My takeaway is this: when you are in the light, or you claim to be in the light of love, and you put someone else in darkness, you are immediately placing yourself in darkness as well. You cannot be in the light and place another in darkness. You cannot. These are the ties that bind. In the Lord's Prayer, these are the trespasses that we forgive, so that we are forgiven. It is a gift to the self. When we give it to others, we give it to ourselves. It sounds easy. And on paper, in conjecture, it is easy. But the struggle is detaching from the emotion of the event. I get it. It is work. It takes work. But when you can master that and love yourself, you can more readily love others, because they are characters. They are here. They are maybe detached from a self-love and are hurting other people. They are a myriad of things. Some of us have been in situations where we are sticking with someone because we feel like we deserve such behavior. I've been there. Self-love is honestly one of the lessons that I claim for myself. You know, I said to myself, if loving myself is the only lesson I need to master in this life, I'm grateful for that, because I didn't even know what it looked like. I didn't know how it felt. I didn't know how it would affect others around me to love myself. And it is not selfish to love yourself unconditionally, because therefore you have no way to give it to other people in a real, genuine way, especially when it comes to forgiving them. Thank you so much for joining me this week. Next week, I want to dive more into the idea of love, what it is, what it isn't, how it is the note of creation in all things. I appreciate your time today. If you enjoyed my excerpt that I read from, you can follow me on TikTok at _chamber_within. That is still under construction as I am creating new content, but it has tons of book quotes and small snippets, and like a minute or less each video. But I have compiled a list of about 45 books that I'm curating, what those books meant to me and what I think you can get out of said book. So it's a list of books, how it benefited me, and what it can do for you. And you can kind of pick and choose what books to move forward with. So I thank you for joining me this week, and I hope you have a blessed week, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.